Right. I apologise, people of the T5 community, for my accent. I'm from Sheffield and I sound like I'm thick, but I've always wanted a T5 and I've always wanted a camper. It took me a long time to save up for what I've got, and I like to do the bits on it myself, so I know I've turned every screw and I painted it myself and stuff and what have you. People have probably already seen my T5, but this is a 2004 2.5 litre AXE engine, which basically, for those that don't know, it's a clockwork engine, which basically means you don't have any, excuse this is my daughter, this means it doesn't have any drive belts or anything like that. Everything's clockwork, right? So when people want to change their alternator, if they want to do it themselves, if they're quite handy with the tools, just be aware this is what you have to do to get to the alternator. The front bumper, both headlights, the battery, radiator, intercooler, oil cooler, because it is located here behind everything, and it is an Allen key bolt. I think it's about 6 or 7 mil, something like that. They also recommend that you change, this is under the battery compartment, you have to take the battery out, these 6 retaining bolts, excuse my head torch, see these 6 retaining bolts, like 1 in all 4 corners, 2 in the middle, and you have to move this to get to the high capacity fuse board, which is this one underneath the battery here, and you have to change this fuse on the end, which is normally 175 amp. They're quite difficult to get hold of. You're better off ordering them online. I've had to change number 6 fuse, because it looked a bit dicey, but that's the glow plug fuse. Yeah, so I'm changing that one just to be safe. I'm also going to give it a good clean down. I bought this obviously second hand and it did have a few issues. I got it at a decent price, but yeah, for those who like to do the things themselves, I had this problem. I drove from one side of Sheffield to the other and it was fine. The battery light came on, but after giving it a few revs it stopped. And I called the AA to put the meter onto the battery, and he said your alternator's not charging. That's why it's not actually firing, because there's some sort of fault with the alternator. So that said to me, I've got to change the alternator. They're not expensive, they're not too expensive, a couple of £100, but yes, be aware this is what they have to do. And when you take one of these engines in to be fixed, if it is an alternator problem and they do turn around to you and say it is about £500, this is why. And it is very, very, very worth its money to pay somebody to do it. If you are able to pay somebody to do it, that's brilliant, that's up to you. But if you are handy with the tools and you want to do it yourselves, I would suggest definitely getting the tool that removes the radiator retaining clips. These special little clips here, there's a special tool that opens and closes these. I've been using a multi-tool type pair of pliers, but these are in a very difficult position to get to. One of them is, it's right down in this position here. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, excuse my phone. It's there. It's in there. It's on that, and it's on the bottom of that round hose you can see there. That there on the bottom is very tricky to get to, because you have to get it through from underneath, and because it's on the underneath, you have the oil pump in the way and the subframe to get to it, which is up there, so you've not got a lot of room, and those special tools will be a godsend. So yes, for those of you that are handy, or those of you that question the price of changing an alternator, please be aware that yes, it's well worth its money. Be aware that this is the control unit for the fans, and this one is a temperature sensor. This one on the bottom is the fan control unit. These are quite difficult to get to too. I actually broke the clip for this top one, getting it off. There is a little tool. Some people use a screwdriver, but there's a tool that you can push in. You push it in and it lifts the end off the noggin, off the little clip, the retaining clip. It lifts it up so you can pull it out. There's a special tool. I would suggest getting one of those too. They're worth their weight in gold. But yeah, just a little insight for those who like to do work on their own vehicles. Please excuse this. I know it's all messy. I've only had the vehicle for, I would say, 6 months, and this is the first time that I've had to have the full front end off to do it. So I'm going to replace all the intercooler pipes with forged, because these don't sit correctly. The noggins on the edge. If you have a boost leak and you have black smoke coming out of your engine, yeah, get black smoke. That's because, excuse me, I'm trying. These little clips, if you can see them, hang on, that better. Oh, that's better. These little clips here, they wear down, and if you don't get them seated properly, the pressure pops them off. This one has worn down, and I have one here. You can on the back edge of that one. They seem to be all right, but that one does pop off. Also, there is one in the engine bay there. That one there actually does pop off as well, so that's another retaining clip, another thing that I want to sort out while I'm at it. But yes, yeah, as they say, das Auto.